come this morning, and did I just hopefully did knock some of Mike's papers down. I am Madeleine Polemeni, and I'm chairman of the board of the newly incorporated KL Foundation. Very, very brief history of how we got to this point this year. Almost exactly a year ago, I was on a phone call with Warren Schlote and Michael Gordon, and so he's giggling, and Janet Harcum, and with some really lovely lawyers from K&L Gates, which is Michael Gordon's firm. And by the end of the conversation, I was being introduced as the chairman of the new board. So sometimes, like everything else, when someone says to me, as far as the foundation goes, why you? I said, well, I was the only one who said yes on the phone call. The great news is we are now a fully incorporated 501c3. We are registered in the state of New York, and as of April 11th, we can officially collect donations for the foundation. As I speak, we probably have about $35,000 promised to get us started. Our goal is to have $250,000 annually. That is equivalent to what most of the better foundations around the country, of which there's almost 15,000, by the way. This is not a new idea. What they bring in every given year. When I started doing the research on how to put together a foundation and a board, it came to my attention that there had been 2 previous attempts in the past to have a foundation. So I was lucky enough to be told who those people were. We reached out to them, and we have 1 member each of those first 2 attempts on our board, so that we have continuity and we're not going to lose any ground. What are we going to do as a foundation? We're hoping, first and foremost, to enhance the programs that we have here in Katonah Lewisboro. We are not going to be a stopgap for the Board of Education. We are not going to try to provide programs that the Board of Education may or may not be thinking of doing. Let me give you some examples to be more clear. We may be able to fund smart boards and training for such for the teachers. We may be able to provide netbooks for each child and training for use, genius bars in our libraries, innovative science equipment, lighting sensors throughout the buildings to reduce energy cost. For the classrooms, we might be able to provide programming of all kinds, outdoor classrooms and expanded gardens where they don't exist, with, this is the key, curricular integration, and that would again be providing the programs and the training for such. District-wide events so that we can reach everybody, K through 12. Specialized guest teachers, playwrights, poets, and again, teacher training for all the innovations that are coming down the pike. When people ask me, why now? Well, because I don't think there's any other time in the economic history that I know of, having my eldest is almost 18, that we could use something. Secondly, being PTA president for 2 years at Increase Miller and all that, you know, many of us are, I think I recognize all of you. We do so much in the district. It has become more and more apparent to me and to those on the board that the needs of the students in this district, though for some are material, a material need is not necessarily the need that needs to be filled to make a child feel whole and to make a child feel part of a community. And that is one thing that foundations can do. Let's take the plays for my last example. Our high school is known for unbelievable productions. And for those of you with older kids, we know that some of our kids take a gap year before they go to such small colleges as Yale, because they're in the national productions of a particular show, in this case, Spring Awakenings. When you have such a high standard, though, for the performing arts, by no fault of anyone's, not every child is going to have the opportunity to be in those productions. Many of them might do cast, support, or they might do things to make things work behind the scenes. But what if a proposal came our way that we were able to provide a situation for where every theater-minded student in the high school could participate and actually be on stage? Those are the types of things foundations do. How will this work? Well, thanks to Holly Alexander, who's here with me today, and the work that she and her committee have done, we have a website that will be live probably tomorrow. We have a logo that has been officially done. We are going to have cocktail parties, some on this end of town, some on the other ends of town, going on in May and going forward, where we're trying to get the word out. The first goal for the KL Foundation is that by the end of this school year, we would love, this is a lofty goal, that 50% of the people in this community have at least heard or read the words KL Foundation. I don't even care if they know what we do. But when you're trying to do brand marketing, you just need to make sure that they've heard of us. Come September, when we start looking at proposals, we're hoping to be able to do micro grants 4 times a year and the larger grants once a year. The board, to be very clear, is a fundraising board. That is the goal of those of us on the board, is to find donors and to raise money. On the side, there will be a subcommittee chaired by someone on the board who will be studying proposals as they come in. The proposal form is already on the website if you'd like to look at it. Everybody in the community, teachers, parents, students, can come forth with their proposal. Once the committee looks at those proposals, several things will happen. One, they will pass them by Alice or someone designated by Alice to make sure that they're viable. 2 reasons they may not be viable is Alice may know that New York State curriculum is coming down the pike, and we're already going to have X, Y, and Z in a science lab, so we don't need to fund it at this juncture. Or they may simply say, this is the most wonderful idea, but we can't staff this, we can't do that. So that would be fine. Assuming that most of the proposals can go forward, the committee will decide, based on the funds that we have at the time, what we can go forward with, and they will bring it to us. The board will simply say yes, but the bottom line is the Board of Ed has to approve anything because it's looked on the same as if it's a gift to the schools. And that's it. I promise not to take up a lot of your time, but I just wanted to let you know that we're out there, and please get the word out, and you'll be hearing from us, and we hope to launch an annual event in September that's going to involve the children. Some of the ideas coming our way, or maybe we could contact the Guinness Book of World Records, have something in Town Park, because we know that the way to get the parents there is for the children to drag them there. And maybe the children can participate in something like that. So we're welcoming ideas, we're welcoming volunteers, and at this point we welcome you to the website, www.klfound.com. So
Org.
thank you very
Org.
much. .org. Oh, for goodness sake, you know, they just ask anybody to be chair these days. So I thank you very much, and I know Mike wants to get on with his presentation. Does anybody have any specific questions? Thank you so much for inviting me this morning, and I hope to see you again.